Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. This is not a Notre Dame video. I'm sorry for anyone that's here for that. This is a national video. I'll tie it into Notre Dame recruiting just a little bit because, hey, Notre Dame is one of the premier college football teams. Of course, they're going to be looking to flip some recruits from these schools where the coaches are leaving. But I also want to say this James Franklin has not left Penn State yet. Um, I expect him to. I think the majority of people that really follow college football do expect him to end up somewhere other than Happy Valley come next fall. Would that be LSU? Would that be USC? We don't know, but it's definitely a point of debate, and it's going to be interesting. Now he's rumored to be USC's top guy. We'll see. Maybe Coach O comes up there. I don't think so, though. Of course, Coach O was the USC coach, I believe, in 2010. As an interim guy, the fans loved him, but he didn't fit the bill for USC. He ended up going to LSU, moved up the ranks there, and then, of course, became the head coach and won a national championship just 21 months ago. So things happen fast in college football. Things happen very, very fast. And this is interesting because going into today, LSU beat Florida yesterday by a touchdown. You're watching this game on the highlights as I show it now. They looked very, very good, and the offense was clicking. They had some injuries, but they battled through them, and it looked like Coach O had his job. Now, this morning that wasn't the case. He will be the LSU head coach until the end of the season, and then he will be fired afterwards. Maybe trying to sneak away a nice bowl win or something. They're 4-3, so they're not going to do anything major. The playoff is out. The New Year's Six bowl game is out of the table, but maybe get a nice bowl win, whatever. Good for them. But of course, the rumors started to pick up. Well, who's going to be the coach next year? Billy Napier from Louisiana Lafayette is probably the top guy. Mel Tucker from Michigan State, Dave Arnada from Baylor, Mark Stoops from Kentucky, and then you saw some other names being thrown around. Urban Meyer. There were a lot of names. Lincoln Riley. I doubt that happens though. So hey, Bill O'Brien. This could go a lot of different ways. If I had to guess right now, I'd probably say Billy Napier, maybe Mel Tucker, and then USC is another big time gig. You're not seeing their highlights. They had a bye week this past Saturday or this yesterday, but USC is a hot commodity as well. James Franklin has been rumored to be their top guy. You of course have to look at Mel Tucker. All the same guys I pretty much just mentioned are in the race for both of those jobs. Which one's better? That's up to you to decide. Los Angeles is definitely a bigger market than Baton Rouge, but SEC football is definitely better and big and more followed than the Pac-12 is. So it goes a few different ways. Recruiting is good in both locations. But yeah, honestly, if I had to predict, I'd say James Franklin ends up at Southern Cal, and then probably Billy Napier, Mark Stoops, Mel Tucker, one of those guys, and ends up in Baton Rouge. But it'll be fun. It'll be really fun to see what happens. But now let's talk about how this impacts recruiting, because I'm assuming some of you guys are here for that. Now, recruits and the head coach is a big deal. Some programs more than others. People always give Brian Kelly flack for not being as involved in recruiting. He's picked that up over the past calendar year or so. He's become more involved. But honestly, in college football, Brian Kelly might be probably the least involved head coach out of any school's recruiting. Nick Saban, I know, doesn't do a ton, but Nick Saban speaks for itself. It's different with each school. And James Franklin and Coach O are two of the more involved head coaches, if not the two most involved head coaches when it comes to recruiting around the country. Coach O, I saw a video where he does a power hour every single day for an hour. He gets on the phone with recruits, works with his recruiting directors and whatnot, and with his position coaches, trying to build the best team for the future. I remember after he won the national championship in January of 2020, he said that he was asked, "What are you going to do tonight?" And he said, "Probably go call some recruits." This dude is a recruitaholic. It shows. LSU has some of the best recruits in the country. Walker Howard and Will Campbell are two 5-stars on the offensive side of the ball, both from Louisiana, though. And I want to say this. I said I wouldn't make it too Notre Dame centric, but Notre Dame has offered both of these guys, and Notre Dame probably finish second or third for Will Campbell. And if there is a flip destination for Walker Howard, I believe it is Notre Dame more than any place else. So just something to watch out for. Walker Campbell, I could see him definitely coming for this USC game this Saturday. He was supposed to be at the Cincinnati game. He got an injury the night before, so he wasn't able to make it up. But hey, that would be pretty substantial if Notre Dame can flip Walker Howard. Even with Coach O gone, I wouldn't put in Notre Dame's favor. He's a Louisiana kid. His dad played quarterback there. But there's a place that he's going to flip to at Notre Dame. Will Campbell, maybe Jeff Quinn starts to talk to him again. They have some spots open. It really just depends on how comfortable these kids are and, of course, who they hire next for this gig. And then we head to Penn State. Donnie Denise Sutton. Georgia was really high up there. Ohio State, I think Bama as well. This kid was a national recruit, super close to a composite 5-star run, 2.47. He committed to Penn State, I believe, in July. I feel like he's a kid that stays, but I could also see him taking a look at Georgia or one of these other schools. That would not surprise me in the slightest. But time will tell. Time will tell for sure. But the guys I'm looking at that could possibly be looking other places more so than Donnie Denise Sutton is Drew Aller, 5-star quarterback according to On3, I believe. Might also be one on ESPN. He's been climbing up the ranks all over the place. Notre Dame was really, really high on him, but Angeli was their quarterback commit, and we don't need to get into that. But Drew Aller is definitely a guy I could see take a look elsewhere. Ohio State just offered. He's from Ohio. Caden Saunders, another Ohio kid. Ohio State was his dream school, I believe. Notre Dame was definitely involved there. They probably finished second. Nick Singleton, Notre Dame finished second as well. Jeff McNulty, Notre Dame's tight end coach John McNulty, was in Governor Mifflin High School just a few days ago, checking in on Nicholas Singleton and a few other guys. So, hey, Notre Dame's still involved in at least Singleton's recruitment. I don't know about Saunders and Aller. Drew Shelton, offensive tackle from Downington West High School in Pennsylvania. He was another guy that was taking a close look at Notre Dame. So this thing will get interesting. Of course, James Franklin is not left yet. I don't want to make that a huge deal, but if he does leave for USC, I don't think all those guys end up in this class. I'll be entirely honest. They have other options, and James Franklin definitely matters a lot to those guys. So we'll see if Penn State can keep him. If not, things will get interesting. LSU, of course, won't even have Coach O, so you have to think Will Campbell, Walker Howard, and a few of the other guys are looking elsewhere. This also opens the door for guys like Jacoby Matthews, a one-time LSU commit. A lot of people thought he'd end back up at LSU. Maybe he ends up at Texas or Texas A&M. He was at Texas this past weekend. LaTerrence Welsh has been looking elsewhere. Amorion Walker took a visit to LSU this past weekend. He's a Notre Dame wide receiver commit. Maybe LSU's gone there. Just so many possibilities on what can happen. I don't want to get too critical on it, though, because I don't have the right to do that, but it'll be interesting. A lot of fun. This happens every year. I feel like last year, nothing major really happened coaching-wise, but I might be wrong. So, yeah, that's the video, guys. I appreciate everyone watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you liked what you saw. Leave a comment. I'll respond to all that I can, and that's it from me. Peace.